Are you sexually frustrated? Do you never feel in the mood? Is your desire difference affecting your relationship in the bedroom? If you can relate, don't worry, I've got you covered. I know for me, I've struggled with low libido, lack of desire, and complete resignation when it's come to my relationship with sex and intimacy, whether it was with myself or with a partner. Because making pleasure a priority always seemed like an extra thing to do. I would get pushed back to the end of the list and would never happen because I ran out of time. I was too tired. I'd rather watch TV or I flat out didn't want to. And then when I would finally carve out the time, I really didn't know what to do. So let's talk about how we can have some freedom around this frustrating situation. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Katie Roberts. I'm a registered nurse, sex educator, writer, and one of the three hosts of our top rated sexuality podcast, Clit Talk. And welcome. This is Clit Talk Summer School. It's a month-long series to help our listeners increase their libidos, cultivate sexual confidence, and deepen intimacy in all relationships, including the relationship with yourself, so that your sex and communication is really on fire this summer. So each week, we're going to give you a taste of our sex and empowerment signature masterclass by sharing one of our favorite and most powerful distinctions: pleasure parameters. So important. Each week, we will introduce you a new parameter and share simple ways to have these powerful tools thriving in your life. This week, our pleasure parameter is value-based boundaries. This is your access to leading with integrity and staying true to yourself. One value we have found is really important is knowing your type of desire. So today we're going to be talking about desire differences. So first, life stressors. These are a real thing, and they absolutely get in the way of your desire. And there's been times in my life where my desire was on fire. And then there's been times when I wish that I could get back to that place again. And then other times when I'm just completely resigned that I will never be back there again. So something to know is desire is not linear. It needs to be revisited again and again, especially when you've had big life transitions. And also, by the way, you don't want to go back there. My teacher, Dr. Ashley Greneau-Denton from the Sexuality Training Institute, always says, the way things were are what got you here to where you are now. So let's create something new and take the things that we liked before. Otherwise, you will be perpetually seeking versus being. And your way of being is the most crucial crux of all of our sex and empowerment digital courses that we teach, so that you're really embodying a way of being so you can create a new future now. What I want you to remember, if you remember nothing else from this video, is that pleasure is your birthright and you need to reach for it like your life depends on it, because it does. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you our best tools to reignite that flame of desire. But first, I want to let you know a little secret. There are two different types of desire: spontaneous desire and responsive desire. So, whatever kind of person you are, those with responsive desire may not think of sex at all unless something sparks an emotional or erotic interest, like feeling nurtured, feeling a commitment, maybe flirting earlier in the day, maybe the dishes being done. And then those with spontaneous desire, those people are in the mood without physiologically or psychologically arousing activities. They are just ready to go at any moment. That's like my husband. So my husband's spontaneous desire, I'm responsive desire. So I want to kind of give a few characteristics to each time. So with responsive desire, like for me, if I walk out of my office and go to see my husband, I do not immediately want to be intimate with him, and which is different for him, right? I need time to decompress, maybe build some sexual or erotic energy. And there is an increased occurrence in responsive desire in women. You need something to respond to. And this is also in men, but there is an increased occurrence in women. So there's this phenomena that is when your psychological arousal doesn't match your physical arousal. And this is called non-concordant arousal, which is often present if you're someone who requires responsive desire. So I want to talk about this because the mental and physical don't necessarily go hand in hand. The mind isn't there, but the body responds to sexual cues. And there's this societal assumption that if you're not automatically wet and hard and aroused both physically and mentally, that there's something wrong with you. Okay. This is not true. There is nothing wrong with you. And I thought there was something wrong with me for a long time, because for those of you who roll this way with responsive desire, it may be difficult to accept and to blame yourself for not wanting to have sex when your partner who you love and care about clearly does. So other characteristics of responsive desire: a high desire for emotional connectedness and a high desire to be seen and heard. Okay. So spontaneous desire, those of you who are in the mood without needing any sort of arousing activities. So for those of you who roll this way, it may be very difficult to accept that partner who has responsive desire and you're not experiencing desire in the same way. Something that I'm very familiar with is we haven't had sex in so long. How are you not horny? Does that sound familiar? So there are frustrations with people, those with spontaneous desire, because you may struggle with rejection if sexual initiation is not accepted. And you can also put too much weight on your partner to meet sexual needs. So we want to meet each other halfway, but having this information is so important. It can make all the difference. And I know that it did for me. So other characteristics of spontaneous desire is there's a high desire for non-erotic touch. I know my husband, he may say that he wants sex or he wants something, but really non-erotic touch, just giving a hug or giving a cuddle. And you want to explore what that means for each partner, right? They also have a high desire for flirtation or playfulness. So I do make an effort to do those things so that when things are not as regular in the bedroom as far as sexually, as he's still getting his cup filled by me as his partner, because he's getting the physical touch that he really desires. So told you I'd give you some tools to create intimate foreplay. And I have like my top ones here. So number one, masturbation. If you do not know how to love on yourself, know what you like, know what your body responds to, how can you expect your partner to deliver you what you want? You can't. So, self-love, self-pleasure practice, masturbation. Number one, masturbation is a health conversation. If you're in a partnership, ritualize quality time with yourself or your partner without screens, without devices, without substances. Set a timer for 10 minutes and do a cuddle. I'm telling you, the conversations that can come up, the things that you start to explore, it really creates a sense of intimacy and safety in relationship and also solo to get to know yourself. And speaking of conversation, communication. Communication is so sexy. Take the time to learn about your partner. You now have this desire difference conversation, spontaneous versus responsive. You can also explore submissive versus dominance. Like what are you and what is your partner? These are great conversations to have. And within the submissive versus dominance, asking permission is so sexy. And you can allow normal life to be foreplay, right? Like you're going to have a cookie, and just to be playful, you ask your partner, can I have a cookie? And I'm telling you, in the bedroom, when we're moving from thing to thing and I'm becoming more and more responsive to desire in the bedroom, when my husband asks me, gets my consent to move on to the next thing, maybe it's from oral to penetration, it is the hottest thing ever. So, and then the next one, this one is like a difficult one for me to swallow sometimes. It's self-pleasuring and having sex regardless of low desire. So I cannot tell you how many times I have self-pleasured or had sex and at the end been like, why don't I do this more? Almost every time, right? Because I really struggle with this, which is why I'm learning so much about it. So having sex regardless of low sense of desire, or self-pleasuring regardless of low sense desire, reaching for your pleasure like your life depends on it, because it does. All of this is a health conversation. And then the last ones are engaging in different sexual activity, like spicing it up. From my teacher, Dr. Greno Denton, she gave this awesome game of, if you know the heads up game and you're playing it with your partner, why don't you try playing it naked? Because it's fun and it's silly. And if you're solo, Dipsia, or even if you're with a partner, honestly, but like I use Dipsia in my solo play, and there's like all this doming in the mirror that's available and all these really great, amazing stories. I mean, there is a plethora of stories and scenarios in the Dipsia app. I highly recommend it for cultivating intimacy with yourself. Last but not least, schedule a sex date. Okay, let's debunk that scheduling sex is not sexy, because I'm telling you, if you have a regular sexual practice, it really fulfills both spontaneous and responsive, because the spontaneous people with spontaneous desire know that they're going to get something. So that is very exciting. And for responsive, they have time to get themselves all juiced up, do whatever they need to get themselves in the mood. Or maybe you've even had a conversation and you've been doing things together throughout the day from watching this video. So, and the other thing is, if you are scheduling sex or scheduling intimate time, there will be more spontaneity in your sex life. That is just a natural result. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this made a difference for you. Be sure to check out the rest of our Clit Talk Summer School. And if you're enjoying this conversation, please click the links below. We always have tons of free resources in addition to the podcast, as well as our flagship digital courses. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hi, I want to show you what's possible with simple, all-natural libido-boosting techniques that you can try today to give you the sex drive and confidence you're looking for fast. You will be able to easily increase your sexual appetite, erotic desire, and be able to easily take yourself from being turned off to turned on, for real. I have been struggling with low libido for over a decade, and it wasn't until I had the structure and education to become my own pleasure researcher, then give myself permission to experiment, then I was able to experience my own natural sexual instincts and pure ecstasy, not only with my partner, but with myself. If you are looking for this change in your intimate life, let me help. Please click the link below this video and you will get access to a free training with the best of over 200 episodes of my top-rated sexuality podcast, Clit Talk, so that you can experience quantum leaps in your sex and empowerment with simple and impactful shifts. I'll see you on the pleasure side.